ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 verse 24. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya akarya vyavasthitau gyatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum ihi arhasi. Therefore, scripture is the authority regarding proper and improper activity. Thus, aware of the instructions of the scripture concerning the performance of your prescribed duties, simply be an instrument. In the previous verse, Shri Krishna had stated that one who disregards the injunctions of the scriptures, that means one who does not follow the rules and regulations that are described in the Vedic scriptures and instead listens to his mind and thus does everything whimsically, such a person does not attain happiness, he does not attain perfection or liberation from the material miseries and entanglement. Now Shri Krishna is concluding this chapter 16 by stating that if you want to become free from the demoniac qualities, if you want to become free from the miseries of the material world, then you must sincerely follow the injunctions of the scriptures. Why? Because it is the scriptures only that have the authority to describe what is proper and what is improper. This is a very important point to understand. We think of scriptures as some orthodox religious text that has been written for people in the past and has no relevance in the modern times. That is not true. In fact, scriptures are eternal, specifically the Vedic scriptures, and they have been given by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The religious injunctions in the scriptures are by the Lord Himself, and that's why they are called aparusham, meaning they are not the work of an ordinary human being. They are mercifully given to us by the Supreme Lord, so that by following the scriptural injunctions, we can understand what is right and what is wrong, what is sinful and what is pious. By doing what kind of things we will fall into hellish life, and by following which rules, by performing which activities we will be able to elevate ourselves. So therefore, it is not that these scriptures don't have relevance in modern day and age. Just like the constitution of a country, it may have been written some time ago, right? But it is still relevant. The core of the constitution is very, very relevant. Now, of course, constitution is something which is written by humans. It needs changes from time to time. But at the same time, the core principles of the constitution of any country are never changed. And the other important thing to understand is that it is the constitution of the country that describes what the laws are, the laws by which the country will be governed. Similarly, for our life also there is this constitution which describes that how our life will be governed or should be governed, how we should live our life. Just like if one does not follow the rules that are given in the constitution, then he will indulge in improper acts and would be subjected to punishment as per the law of the land. Also, if people in general do not follow the constitutional laws, then there will be immense disturbance in the society. So similarly, if we don't follow the scriptural injunctions, then we will end up acting whimsically and invariably will commit sinful activities which will lead to misery, not in this life alone but also life after life, as Krishna has explained in the earlier verses as well. And if people in the society don't follow the scriptural rules, there will be no peace, only disturbance. And Shri Krishna is saying here that you should be aware of the instructions of the scripture. See, this is another very important point. Just like when you drive on the road, it is expected of you that you should be aware of what the traffic rules are. If some place, for example in New York City, you can't take a right turn on the red light. And if you take a right turn, you are new to the city and you take a right turn and you get a ticket, you can't give the argument that I did not know the rule. Because when you drive in New York City, you are expected to know what the rules of driving in the city are. Similarly, for any rules of the country or the state, you are expected to know those. Similarly, it is our responsibility to read the scriptures and understand what are the rules and regulations for proper human life. If we don't follow those, then we are responsible for the results. In fact, if we don't follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, then we are not fit to be called humans. It is said in the scriptures, dharmen hina pashubhi samana, that if we do not follow the religious principles as enunciated in the scriptures, then we are no better than animals. The difference between us and the animals is that we have rationality and we have higher intelligence. But if that higher intelligence is only used for eating better, sleeping better, defending ourselves better, and having sense enjoyment in a better way than the animals, then we are just better animals, we are not humans. So it is the following of the scriptural injunctions that actually makes us human. Shri Gurudev states in the commentary that having become conversant with the injunctions of the scriptures, it is proper for those who desire eternal auspiciousness to cultivate devotion to Sri Hari under the guidance of the disciplic succession of spiritual masters, according to their respective qualification. It is not the duty of an intelligent person to act against the codes of scriptures by considering the imaginary ideas of so-called teachers who are glorified by non-devotees to be authoritative. So very important to understand that nowadays, we tend to glorify those who are atheists, who basically propound ideas out of their whimsical ideologies. And we see that people go down the wrong path, and by following such so-called leaders, we just become more miserable. And nowadays there is no dearth of people who are presenting and preaching ideas and philosophies that are not grounded in the scriptural injunctions. So if one is intelligent, one should be able to discriminate between who is teaching the right thing and who is teaching the wrong thing. See, if one can simply create religion out of his own mental speculation, then there will be so many religions. But religion is one, because we are all spirit, soul, and we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. There is only one true religion, the eternal religion of the living entity. And what the Sanatan Dharam or the Vedic scriptures give is this eternal religion. So Shri Gurudev states that the Shrutis are the only authority for verifying what is duty and what is not, because they are aparushya, meaning they are not composed by any human being and they are free from the 4 defects of illusion. These 4 defects are imperfect senses, the propensity for cheating, certainty of committing mistakes, and certainty of being illusioned. So we in our conditioned state are bound to suffer from one or more of these defects. Our senses are not perfect, and we only are able to see in 3 dimensions. But the creation of the Lord is multidimensional. There are so many subtle things that we are not able to perceive with our senses. So how can we describe reality with these imperfect senses? Then there is a propensity to cheat. We see, especially in the name of religion, so many people cheat innocent believers. And then we commit mistakes all the time. And we are under illusion. We are under the control of Maya, the illusory energy. So whatever we are going to propound as philosophy while in a conditioned state is bound to be wrong. But the Vedic scriptures are given by the Lord Himself, who is free from these 4 defects. Therefore they are perfect. And therefore they are authoritative. But the instructions of a person who suffers from these 4 defects are not authoritative. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj states in the commentary that as stated in the 15th chapter, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. Vedahi cha sarvai aham eva vedyah. Krishna had stated that the only purpose of the Vedas is to know Him. If we read all the Vedic scriptures but don't come to the conclusion that Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that He is the one Supreme and everyone else is His manifestation, then we have not understood the essence of the Vedic scriptures. If one understands Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita and becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engaging himself in devotional service, he has reached the highest perfection of knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and to engage in the devotional service of the Lord and eat the remnants of foodstuff offered to the deity. So, in this age of Kali, when people have such limited intelligence and are always in a confused state and a disturbed state, sometimes it is not easy, or most of the time, for most of the people, not easy to understand such deep philosophy of the Vedas. So to make our mind pure and develop the ability to understand the Vedic injunctions, Mahaprabhu gave us a very simple process. That simply chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, eat prasadam, which is the food that has been first offered to the deity of the Lord, and then engage in some devotional service like cleaning the temple, cleaning the pots and other things, and then this will give us enough sukriti, enough purity that we will be able to understand the Vedic injunctions, especially those given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says one who is directly engaged in all these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all Vedic literature. As we were discussing before, that ultimately the goal is to be engaged in devotional service with transcendental emotions. But without understanding the Vedic literature, without understanding specifically the Gita and Bhagavatam, our mood will not become fixed. Therefore, it is important to have both. Such a person has come to the conclusion perfectly. Of course, for the ordinary persons who are not in Krishna consciousness or who are not engaged in devotional service, what is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. One should act accordingly without argument. That is called following the principles of scriptures. Because the rules and regulations that are described in the scriptures are above the four defects, and they are accepted without alteration by all great saints, acharyas, and great souls. Now, we may need to explain them in different ways according to time and circumstance, but all the scriptural injunctions are eternal and therefore they are valid in every time and in every age. Sri Swami Maharaj states further that in India there are many parties of spiritual understanding, generally classified as two, the impersonalist and the personalist. Both of them, however, lead their lives according to the principles of the Vedas. Without following the principles of the scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfectional stage. One who actually therefore understands the purport of the scriptures is considered fortunate. So if we can understand even the Bhagavad Gita in this life and have no doubt about the instructions of the Lord, our life will be perfected. Shri Gurudev concludes the commentary by giving a very special instruction, which is very important to understand. Shri Gurudev states that the root offense of the living entity is his voluntary aversion to the service of Sri Bhagavan. As a result, Maya, who is a maidservant of Bhagavan, places the jiva in bondage. So why are we suffering in this world? Because of that root offense that we committed many lifetimes ago, from that marginal position of ours, becoming averse to the Lord. Krishna bhuli se jeev anadi bahirmukh, atev maya tare de sansara dukh. So forgetting Krishna from time immemorial, having become averse to him. Anadi means from time immemorial, bahirmukh means we turned our face away from him towards the material world. Therefore, the illusory energy Maya is giving us the miseries of the material world. Therefore, we are bound in the entanglement of the illusory energy. Bound by this illusory energy, the living entity gives up that sattvic nature, which enables him to understand Bhagavan. Sattvic nature is the nature in the mode of goodness. Thus, by accepting the qualities of ignorance, the living entity becomes demoniac. At that time, many offenses manifest. What kind of offenses? Such as criticizing the saintly people, maintaining the conception that there are many gods or that there is no God, disobeying the spiritual master, disregarding the scripture, thinking that the glory of bhakti as described in the scripture is imaginary, proposing that karma and jnana are actually bhakti, not having faith in bhakti, and instructing unqualified people in bhakti. So like this, there are many different offenses, many unwanted ideas that we develop. All of this is because of being averse to the Lord. So the teaching of this chapter is that after giving up this demoniac nature, it is obligatory to engage in the practice of the 9 types of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam, as Prahlad Maharaj has described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So engaging in this ninefold devotional service with faith and following the principles described in the scripture. So in fact, it is not possible to give up the demoniac nature unless we follow the path of bhakti. As we have discussed before, that the root of demoniac nature can only be removed when one develops the taste for pure loving devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also states in his commentary that Krishna is saying that only scripture is authoritative in determining what is correct and what is not correct. And the conclusion of scripture is that one should perform bhakti. Knowing this, you should become qualified to act. Theists attain the supreme destination by their faith in Bhagwan, and the faithless atheists go to hell. This is the meaning of this chapter. So with this, by the mercy of Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, we conclude the 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is titled Daiv Asur Sampad Yog, or the yoga through discerning divine and demoniac qualities. This chapter described what the qualities of saintly people are and what the qualities of demoniac are. By understanding these qualities, we can learn to abstain from the demonic qualities and embrace godly qualities. And that becomes very easy when we are in association of devotees and engage in the process of bhakti under their guidance. So please, once again, try and read this chapter carefully, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send those to me. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Have a very blessed day.